I have to cover all of them, right? I'm starting to regret my decision. But as soon as I'm done talking about these movies, I never have to talk about them again. Hopefully. What's up? What's happening? It's going to be welcome back to Animation Station. Welcome back to our Ghostbusters series review. Today we're taking a look at the first big red flag that this shouldn't have been a damn franchise in the first place. Yeah, I'm not going to be kind in this video. Because this is the textbook definition of a bad sequel. It's not a terrible movie on its own, no. But as a sequel, it is really bad. Let's talk about not the terribleness. Let's talk about the disappointing, painful, pointless mediocrity that is Ghostbusters 2. Why does this even exist? I deeply question why in the hell this even exists. The first movie was fine. Sure, it wasn't my personal thing, but I still found things to enjoy about it. Did I say it was the best one and done movie? Sure, but I still had fun. There's no fun in this damn movie. This is the textbook definition of a sequel rushed out by corporate to try and make more money. To keep the franchise going. Despite the fact that I think by this point they had a whole cartoon show and a toy line that was more than keeping the series alive at that point. Did people want a Ghostbusters 2? Yes, I have no doubt that the fans wanted a sequel. Which is usually what happens when you have such a big, successful first film. You want to see more. Problem is, instead of actually trying, they just made the same thing again, with little minor changes, just to try and trick you into thinking that it's a completely different movie when it's not. Let's just get to the written review. I want to get through this as soon as possible so I don't have to talk about it again, because tomorrow we have an even worse piece of crap. Whatever, let's just get through this. Here's my written review, enjoy. Yikes. While the original was better than I remembered on second viewing, this one just got worse. Not outright terrible, but not even close to passable, and as a sequel, even less passable. So, pros. Final battle is decent. It's not good, it's not bad, it's fine. A few funny lines, and I mean just a few. And none of them come out of Venkman's mouth. A great performance from Harold Ramis as Egon one last time, aka the one person in this movie who was actually still trying. So, rest in peace to him. Egon is still the best part of these movies. Good effects. The effects are still very good here. I will gladly give them praise for that. Even though there is a bit more CGI this time, there is still some practicals in there, and there's still some cool designs, so I will gladly give them that. Directing is still solid. The cinematography is good, but unfortunately not as ambitious as it was in the original. And good, but dated music that's nowhere near as iconic as the first movie's soundtrack. The cons? Everything else! Literally, everything else is a problem. There's no mixed aspects. There's no things I'm iffy about. No, the rest of this is straight up problems. The rest of the acting by everyone else, aside from Harold Ramis, is phoned in. Even Sigourney Weaver phones it in here. That is absolutely inexcusable. Writing is straight up terrible. Like, in the first movie, it was hit and miss. There were some moments it didn't work, but there was more moments or not that it did. Here, no. The writing is bad in this movie. The writing is terrible because it tries to cater specifically to kids instead of catering to kids and adults like the original did. Which means you get all those really cringy things that you find in those really bad family movies. Yeah, you know which ones I'm talking about. Story is a boring rehash with little to no variation. Like, the only difference is that they get separated and have to come back again. And the only other difference is that Sigourney Weaver's character Dana has a baby. That's it. Outside of that, it is the same damn movie again. Oh, and different villains. It's still the same thing. In other words, this movie has no originality. The final conclusion of the movie sucks. The villains are garbage, both the human ones and even the ghost one are garbage in this movie. The jokes fall flat, none of them are funny, and a lot of it is just cheap, lazy baby humor. And I don't mean like the kind of baby humor that's a little bit cutesy or you can forgive. No, I mean like that really bad humor that you see a lot of animated films get ripped apart for, you find in this movie. The new characters are mediocre. The product placement is absolutely obnoxious, especially the one at the end where they control the Statue of Liberty with an NES advantage. Why? Outside of the obvious tie-in for your video game, why? The pacing is a mess, the runtime is far too long, and rewatchability is non-existent. While not a terrible movie on its own, it is really damn bad as a sequel to the original Ghostbusters. Pretty much all the passion put into the original is completely gone, and is now replaced with the most corporate, half-assed, rushed-out, stupid freaking crap imaginable. Sure, it still has some good qualities. Sure, it's not a terrible movie by itself, but it is buried under so much garbage that it ultimately doesn't matter. Because am I going to look back on this movie and remember the good stuff? No, I'm going to more remember the absolute avalanche of trash that is all throughout this thing. More than I'm going to remember any of the good parts. Because when you have this many problems in your movie, especially in your sequel, the good stuff becomes scars and barely even worth mentioning. I'm done. Final verdict for Ghostbusters 2 is a 4 out of 10. 4. And it's only because those little good aspects save it from being garbage. On its own, not a terrible movie, but as a sequel to a movie that I thought was overall solid, this straight up sucked. And was the first indicator that maybe this shouldn't have been a franchise in the damn first place. It's a textbook example of a bad and completely pointless sequel, and if not for the cartoons that were still running at the time, and the tie-in video games and whatever else, this would have outright killed the franchise, because this is one of those movies that can and will kill a franchise. Why do you think we were stuck with 2 movies for so long until the 2010s? Because this one completely ruined it for everybody. Just don't bother. It's not worth it. Don't bother wasting your time with this movie, and if you like it, that's fine. I respect your opinion, but me personally, this was crap. It may not be a terrible movie on its own, but as a sequel, it is crap. But hey, it's Oscar-worthy compared to what I have to review tomorrow. Because like I said, I have to go through all of them. And the next one we have to talk about had discourse so toxic and so absolutely insufferable that it just made even talking about this franchise at all a pain in the ass. I'm not looking forward to it, to say the very least. But like I said, once I talk about all these movies, I never have to talk about them again. And if I piss off any of the super diehard people, sorry, but it's just my opinion. You love what you love. This franchise just doesn't work for me at all. I had fun with the first movie. This was just crap. And tomorrow I have to review arguably the worst of these movies. Yeah, it gets worse than this, believe it or not. Now, whether or not my sanity will survive that absolute horrible undergoing is something that I question. See you next time when we talk about the absolute abomination that is the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. I might have to put a 14 plus on that one because I have a lot to say about it. Because I stayed away from the internet because of its horrible discourse that surrounded it. I have been waiting years to tear it apart. And tomorrow, I'm going to do that. No matter how many people I piss off. Why? Because I built my channel off brutal honesty. So, that's it. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe or whatever, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm sorry if I pissed you off with this review or any of these reviews so far. I'm just sharing my honest thoughts, and I don't mean to crap on anything that holds dear to your heart. If you like this stuff, continue to like it. It's just my opinion. Okay? Okay. See you next time for Ghostbusters 2016. Pray for my sanity.